thank you for coming here and watching this. First of all, I will say sorry for bad English. Uh, I will talk about a little controller that I have, and I'm sorry for audio. It's not the best. I have some problems. I had trying to solve it, but I hope I can make myself heard and hope you understand what I'm saying as well. I want to talk about the controller I bought for a while back now. I had a Hercules Air controller before. You have that have seen my mixing streams has seen that, but I bought this one. It's also a Hercules, but this is Impulse um, 300 or 3,300, and I bought this one when I got my first top 50 on SoundCloud. I thought, yeah, I need to upgrade. There was no problem with the Hercules Air. I liked that. It was okay. I got a really good deal on that one, so it was a nice start. But the software I'm using is Hercules. No, sorry, Djuced, and now I'm in Djuced 4. But I missed some functions on the Hercules Air controller that so I needed quite often to use the mouse to activate some features in the software because it hadn't got the buttons for it and so on. This one is, well, it has all. I say all. It can be some things I have missed that I can't control with it in the new Djuced 4, but I say it has all because I can control almost, well, every feature in the software I can control with this controller unit. So it has all the buttons. It feels like, yeah, they made Djuced 4 and that is made for this controller, or well, it feels like it's belong together. I can do everything with this and control everything in the software. So at least so far I seen. Let's start to talk about the features on this one. Here on this side, of course, it's the same on both sides, but I will show on this side. And I know the camera isn't the best, but bear with me. On this side, we have on the top effects on and off, and you can also the amount of effects and if it should be dry or wet. I play around quite a lot with effects. I like to use them like echo and so on, so I use those quite much, and it has really nice touch to these controllers. I must say they are giving some resistance, feel smooth, so I like those, and the button as well. All the buttons feels like nice. On this side, of course, as I said, same on the both sides. You got load, where you load the tracks into the controller, and you got high, mid, and low, like most controller has. A free band equalizer, and it got filters, and filters I often use. It's a good. I like to use filters when mixing, so. And it has all those. It has a little in the middle that you feel, except this one. The gain doesn't have a middle point, but the other buttons has a middle point. Even filter has that one, and here beneath the filter you have headphones for queuing, and of course you got volume up and down and so on. and it has a really nice touch. And this one is going quite well. You can use it for scratching without any problems. I'm not a scratcher though, so but the first thing I noticed, the biggest difference, well, it's lots of big difference. The size is bigger than Air and so on, but it's a jugs. The jug wheel it are really feeling nice. It's a really they feel really nice. That's what I have to say. They are, yeah, smooth. They are feeling quite sturdy, so you can. You don't feel that you have to be really careful. It doesn't feel plastic, even though it is plastic. I don't say the Hercules Air jug was bad, but this they can't be compared. I can feel like I can press this one quite hard without being careful to break it or anything, and yeah, it's react really good, and his nice grip on the sides as well, and the surface feels like old vinyl record. Uh, it has those like the small tracks on the vinyl. I have even scratched a little bit with them in the some songs. I have some scratching that I didn't like when I had the Hercules Air. I tried it, but no, I didn't get a feel for it. With this one, I have done it in some mixes. Under beneath that, under the jug, we got a button. It's called the vinyl. Pressing if you press that one, the jug will give you the feeling of scratching with vinyl. And you also see here is two. Hopefully, you see at least here is two lights, two LEDs. I will talk about them a little later. And here you got slip, and you got something called Q. I don't really haven't played around with those so far. And you got four buttons here. You see. No, sorry, I will go back to this one, because beneath the vinyl you got the loop in and loop out. So it is quite easy to press loop in and loop out, and then you have the loop in your song. Then you have the other button here is a shift. I will come back to that. This one is hot cue. This is roll if you want to loop in the songs. Of course, really fast, and so on. Slower, and so on. Or bigger loop sequences. This is a little like that, and this is really tight loop. So, and this is slicer, and this is sampler. So you can play around with sampling. I use sampling a lot. I don't play around so much with the slicer. I use it sometimes. I rather play around with the loops and the sampler. That's what I use most. But you can also press shift. Then this button has tone play. This button has effects, and this button has slicer loop, and this one has beat jump. So those four buttons are multi buttons. Pressing shift, you get the other, and it stands under beneath the buttons. You see what the function is when you press the shift. Then you have sync. I'll get back to that as well, and cue and play, and of course you got those buttons. Every button has a quite distinct press. Feels nice. I like the little click. You feel, yeah, I have pressed the button. Those pads are rubber coated, and they are reacting really good, I must say. And if you see here at the tempo, it's a green light, uh, but I will come back to that, and I will this light here and the sync I will come back to, because um, you got in the middle here, you got something called the energy, and you see this light in a special color. If you use Djuced, it, if you select track, I haven't looked in that much into what, but it has an energy light, so you can see if how much energy the song you play has, and it has a button. Of course, you this one you select the songs. You scroll down. If you press it, you select if you want to move the. Press it once, you go to the maps and move down the list in the maps, or press it again, you go into the map. It's like left click on the mouse, and then you scroll down or up for moving in the track list to select the songs. Under that little wheel, or what you can call it, you got a button called assistant, and that will, if you want to wonder which song I will play, you can press that and you get introduced a little list of songs that will go fine with that track you're playing, based on what beat, of course, beat per minute, but also the style, and also if it's or with if it's or which tone it has. This is a D tone, or well, it goes by the tones. I have hard time to explain because I can't find the correct words. And this one is master volume. This one a headphone volume, and you got the master, and you got the headphones, as I said, maybe I said earlier. Here you got a button. This is, for me, it feels like a semi-pro, because it has all you need. You can do lots with it, but it also is a really good for beginner controller, for those who want to begin to mix. It's even better than the Air controller, in my opinion, because it has a feature that you press this one, you see some light turning up when this is pressed. Those buttons, if I play a song on this now and I move this one, it will tell me if I should I haven't the software at this time up and running. It's not running, so but it will tells you if I'm a little bit off, and you need to go up or down in the tempo to mix the tempo. And this is beat align if I need to correct it in the beat. Sorry about that. And also it has, as almost most controllers now, that has the sync button. So if you don't want to do the hard way to find the beat when you play, you can put sync on those and it sync the beats. So if you got like this one is 145, but this one is playing 144, but you want it to, you don't care if this is going down a little bit, you press sync and this will also go 144. It matches the beat per minute, and when you press play it will match the beat. So but you can of course do it, you turn it off, then you do it the hard way or the hard way, or if you want to do it yourself, you want to match the beats and so on, or you press that one and you will get a little bit help if you're a little bit off in the beats or in the tempo. Or you press the sync and you press play and it will do the beat sync for you if you like that. So that and of course it's the same on both sides, and you got a headphone jacket in front as most of them, most controllers, and at the back side you got three. You got one special socket that is not in use yet, but it is for other Hercules items. So I guess you in the future you can be buying a module and put it there in different hardware that you can control with this one as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what they have in mind with that. It's not so it's for future uses, and you got two connectors for audio out, and it's regular phone that you, and you can go into some other equipment like your EQ and compressor and so on, and then go further on to amplifier and so. Or you can use it in with your PC speakers. You just hook it up. This is really easy to hook up and get started. You download the software. You hook up the USB. It finds when you start the the software. It finds the controller. It's a little software that installs, and it even upgraded the firmware on this one. When I hook it up, and it started to upgrade it. So it upgraded the firmware and the little software for controlling the audio installed. I started Djuced and it asked me if I wanted to use headphones for listening, and you get a little guide to get started. And if you select to use PC speakers as output, then it's done. You can listen to it with the PC speakers out. So it's really easy to get started, and well, I must say I really like this one. I bought it. I may have said it earlier, but I don't remember because I recorded this once earlier and I screwed something up, so I started over again. But I bought it when I upgraded it when I got my first song on SoundCloud on top 50 most played in trance genre. I have now had several. I had at least 3 on the top 50, and as I record this, I have one on up and hot and upcoming. I'm really surprised, to be honest, but happy. So I must say, even though I'm not a professional DJ or anything, I like this. I have played earlier. I have been a DJ. I have played in clubs and so on when I was younger. I have used the Pioneer and others. Of course, this is what it is. It is a medium size controller for, but I feel so comfortable with this and the software Djuced for that I could go out and use it professional. Even though it, of course, the more expensive Pioneer and others have much other features and so on, but with this I could take a gig and do it. I think quite good. It has what you need to have to do a gig. The only thing so far I don't really like with this one. I don't know how it. Don't know if it's the software or if it's this one or if it's in the communication between the software and it's the gain. Oh, sorry, hit the microphone there. Hit the microphone, yo. Uh, it's a gain. If I have it in the middle, like this, everything is fine. I play a song, and I turn up this full. I like to have them full. I don't want to have. And you got them in balance here. You got no, not peaking too much. But then next song. Yeah, oh no, this is too low, and you just move this a little bit. Bam. Yeah, so you need to be quick to compensate. It's you don't have to move it much. It's like I think it's the software. sorry. That it has. I think it has some auto gain, and with this controller at least, didn't have that problem with the air. Uh, that matched. Oh, I never big peaks or so, but this I think it may because this is just I don't know if it's because of that, but it feels like the software tries to um, give it a nice level, but because of this button, when you just move it, you don't even have to, you just move it and move back, bam, the audio can be raised because it can be quite low sometimes, and you just have to touch that a little bit. So I don't I don't like, and that makes it really because really hard to because if you should be out on a gig. It's one thing that you can have high volume because you got maybe a compressor or a peak limiter or something, after processing the sound. But when it's low and you have this on max, you need to adjust this, and you get really loud, and so now I know it can happen. So when I adjust, I at the same time move this a little bit down and then take it up again a little, so it is not peaking too much. But that's I don't know if it is a software bug or not. I haven't been on their forums and checked out if any mention it, but that is a little bit annoying, to be honest. But and one thing I do miss on this one that was on the Air, it's the record button. In on Air you could press the chord and the software started to record it. On this one you don't have. I haven't found it, at least if you haven't hide it anywhere. I can't. It has no record button, so you have to manually with your mouse start recording in the software. And since I record quite much and put on out on SoundCloud, it would be nice because you have to. If I want to have a starter. Start sampling, I often use a sampling as a starter, and then you should press play. You don't want to have to. I don't want to edit too much afterwards, so you need to press the button. You need to have one hand on mouse. You start recording, press the button, start. It feels a little bit. It should be because it should be a record button, because on the Air it was right in the middle. You just press to the record and you were up and running in recording. So there are two things that I have to say that may be a little bit negative. First of all, the biggest thing, this is the gain. I hope they are software related, and it will be corrected in next version, or if it's firmware related, if hardware that it will come firmware fix for it or something, because that it makes me think if I should get a gig. That is one thing it would make me think about getting another controller for that gig, because at a club you can't have a song or oh, it's really low, you can't hear it. You can't have a song the audio levels going up and down, up and down. So hopefully they will solve that. And the a little minus for missing the rec button, but that's not a biggie one. The biggie is the gain and the gain problem that sometimes, not always, but sometimes occur, and you have to correct it, and you get that almost like explosion of you peak it, you get it up to red, and it's over. Sometimes it even has been a little bit distorted because it went up so high in volume. But consider that really like this controller. I do not regret at all buying it. I bought it at Gear for Music, got a good deal, a little bit of 2,000 Swedish krona, but also since I sold my air controller, got it sold quite fast there, so it wasn't any question about if I should buy it, or it was when I should buy it, and I bought it, and I like it. This was my fault about this. It got almost a half hour, so if you have watched this so far, if you have watched all this, I really must say thank you for taking your time and listen to my rambling about this Hercules Impulse 300 controller that you should be if you're going to buy it, you're going to be I think you're going to be happy about it. So that's what I had at this time. Thank you for watching, and if you're interested, I have new streams out, and I will put new streams out. No, sorry, I got new songs out on new mixes on SoundCloud. I will put the link in the comments or description. If you like this video, or if you find it just a little bit helpful, if you're going to buy this, or if you were thinking about buying it, give me a like for thumb up, and subscribe, and also comment. If you subscribe, I really do appreciate it, because I don't do this only for myself. I'm doing it for you out there, so you can get some thoughts about this little controller. And say as always, bye, take care.